Què tal? Molt bona tarda. Us saludem des del Camp Tito Vilanova de la ciutat esportiva amb un dia fantàstic.
Good morning. And here we are on a beautiful sunny morning here at the Ciutat Esportiva, where the first team are about to, well, they're just coming out in fact now for their training session. It's about half an hour after the scheduled start at 11 o'clock Central European time. That's presumably because Luis Enrique's been having an extended team talk with the players, because of course we've got a very important game tomorrow in the Champions League against Bayer Leverkusen. We're allowed to show you the first 15 minutes of the session. After that, Luis Enrique will be conducting the remainder of the session behind closed doors, so we'll be able to see them warming up and going through some of the early exercises, and then I'm afraid we'll have to turn the cameras off and leave them to their own devices. Tomorrow's game, of course, kicking off at 9:15 Central European time, local time. Against Bayer Leverkusen, who, despite winning 4-1 against Bate Borisov in their first Champions League game, have been struggling a bit in the Bundesliga. A run of 3 defeats and they dropped down to 15th, but back-to-back wins they've just had. They defeated Werder Bremen at the weekend. They're up to 5th now and back on course in the German Championship. You can see the players now arrived on the field, waiting for the rest of the coaching staff and the players to come out and join them. Rakitic and Sergio Roberto coming on. It's been a bit chilly here in Barcelona the last few days, I have to say. I've got the duvet out on the bed now. It's getting a bit chilly at night, but today, far from that, it's a beautiful sunny day. Jeremy Mathieu, we just saw in the picture there. The pitch is in wonderful condition at the moment. As you can see, they're really doing a wonderful job. On this, the preferred pitch is pitch number 1 here at the Ciutat Esportiva, although they do sometimes use other ones. Don't worry, it's not raining. Those are the sprinklers. Luis Enrique always likes to wear sunglasses for these training sessions. Today, no exception. Bona victòria per 4-1, però també va tenir, això sí, pocs minuts, però els va tenir contra les Palmes, va participant. Barca, of course, on the back of 2-1 win against Las Palmas at the weekend, 2 goals from Luis Suarez, and there was double fortune as far as the result was concerned, because they bounced up to 2nd place in the league after losing to Celta the week before, because Celta themselves and Real Madrid could only draw, so they dropped down below Barcelona. Villarreal, the only one of the top 3 teams to win at the weekend. They beat Atletico Madrid 1-0. Means Villarreal are now top of the league table for the first time in their history. So huge celebrations down in Villarreal after that. Barcelona just a point behind now, so that was the good news from the weekend. The bad news, of course, was the injury to Leo Messi to his medial collateral ligament, which is a medical term I think we're going to be hearing a lot of over the next 8 weeks, which is what it's predicted that the Argentinian will be out of action. 7-8 weeks is the official verdict from the medical services at the club. So the players are gathering, and we would assume that in usual fashion they're going to start with the Rondo exercise when they get in the circle, the pig in the middle kind of exercise.
i és aquesta samarreta de color blau marí, amb aquestes línies de color blau cel. És l'equipació que estrena aquest cop i no és notícia. Habitualment, quan hi ha un entrenament de Champions previ...
You'll notice something you may notice that's unusual, and that's because of the Champions League, there's no Qatar Airways advert on the sponsorship on the training gear. This is just the plain black and blue training gear that they are wearing. So the players are on the field and still going through their warming up exercises. Looks like the goalkeepers are going to be working in isolation from the start. We're going through the loosening up exercises here. Gerard Piqué, as usual, has got some joke to share with his colleagues. This, of course, the routine that all of you at home should be following as well when you do sporting exercise. It's the from least to more method. You start off just loosening up, just don't do anything to strain the body, just all these different kinds of exercises you can see. That's a good shot to see the different things that the players do. Nothing too strenuous for the first 5 minutes or so, just limber the body up, ready for the exertions to follow. So, Leverkusen tomorrow. Barca will be back in action then again on Saturday in the league, with a trip to the Sanchez Pizjuán to play Sevilla. Sevilla themselves have Champions League football this week, arguably a tougher week than Barca, but they've got to go to Turin. They're playing Juventus, last year's runners-up, of course, lost to Barca in the final. And that's on Wednesday, so that means Sevilla will have one less day to prepare for Saturday's game, which will be a repeat, of course, of the European Super Cup game. Who could forget that one in Tbilisi, Georgia? 5-4. Barca winning that one, of course, to win the fourth title of the calendar year, the first title of the season. So the players are now assembled for the Rondo exercise. We don't really have an exact word for this in English. Piggy in the middle is what we call it. You may have seen sometimes when we've been showing these training sessions, they divide into two groups. Today they're going to be working in one group. One big circle, the players around, and three players in the middle. Of course, then when the ball is taken, the exercise you would probably normally do on your own training grounds at home is that the player that loses the ball, then the player that wins the ball, then moves back in to join the ring. But no, in this method, it's the player of the three in the middle who's been there the longest. He's the one who returns to the outer ring. I'm sure a lot of you that have done this exercise yourselves know what it's like to be in the middle, and if you don't get the ball, you get more and more tired. It gets harder and harder and harder to get the ball. It can be quite punishing, especially when the players that are forming the ring around you are the current Liga, Copa del Rey and Champions League title holders. You see the three goalkeepers working out separately.
Ter Stegen, o Bravo o Jordi Masip, en el cas del porter que estigui, treuen curt, el rival et fa una pressió asfixiant i tu has de sortir com puguis d'aquesta pressió.
Ter Stegen, Bravo and Masip, they're doing the exercise that you can see. We're assuming it's going to be Ter Stegen in goal tomorrow. But all of that depends on Claudio Bravo's fitness. He's not been declared fully fit so far from his soleus injury on his left leg.
cap tipus d'informació al
But
respecte, per tant,
we
el temps
would assume it's not going to be too long until Bravo's back available.
dels camps d'arreu del territori ho marcarà la seva evolució.
Last season, of course, Bravo played all the league games, Ter Stegen played all the Champions League and Cup games. That's generally been the method this year as well. Obviously, not at the moment with Bravo being injured, but Luis Enrique has always insisted in his press conferences that that's not necessarily going to be the plan, and we shouldn't just assume that that's how things are going to operate this year. So it'll be interesting to see what Luis Enrique decides when Claudio Bravo is back from injury, which we're assuming and of course hoping and crossing our fingers that is going to be in the very not so distant future.
L'últim que es va disputar, que va ser, com recordareu, a l'Olímpic de Roma, aquest empat a 1 amb el gol de Luis Suárez i amb aquell golàs, per què no dir-ho, a més, molts dels futbolistes del Barça ho van reconèixer d'aquesta manera, aquell golàs, mèrit del migcampista.
So Bayer Leverkusen, of course, the early pacemakers in Champions League Group E, after beating Bayer Borisov 4-1 in their opening game. Barca, of course, were at the Olympic Stadium, went ahead through
Arriben avui i
Luis Suarez. Game ended up 1-1, so Barca and AS Roma sharing the points, 1-1. Roma, of course, tomorrow will be travelling to Belarus to be entertained by Bayer Borisov.
Chicharito ha pogut ja incorporar-se a la disciplina d'un conjunt, en aquest cas l'alemany del Bayer Leverkusen, que ara ocupa la 5a posició a la Bundesliga i a poc mira d'escalar posicions. Arriba, per cert, de guanyar 0-3.
Luis Enrique tends to sit down through these warm-up exercises. He doesn't tend to say very much. I don't know whether that's because he's camera shy, because he knows that we're watching him, or whether he has his voice saved for the main section of the training session that I'm afraid we're not able to bring to you live for obvious reasons, because it's behind closed doors and Luis Enrique, with rather prying eyes, didn't get too much of an idea of his tactics for tomorrow's game.
The
sprinklers are out quite early. Normally when the sprinklers come on, that means that they're about to stop this part of the session and move into the main exercises.
Van regant la part més propera a on estem nosaltres. Això és l'indicatiu d'on treballarà l'equip després de fer el Rondo. El fan lluny, on han regat primer, i quan ja la gespa està a punt, mentrestant es prepara l'altra part del camp, l'altra part de la gespa, que és on es traslladarà l'activitat esportiva un cop acabi el Rondo.
Of course, what they're doing, they're
moltes vegades acaben amb un
watering the part of the field that they're going to be moving on to afterwards. So this part they're playing on has already been watered, so they're using that. And then Luis Enrique is going to guide his players across to the other side, and they'll then work out on the other half of the pitch, which is now nicely damp. On what has been a dry weekend, and today's a very dry morning, did look like it was going to be very wet yesterday, but the rain never did come in the end.
Res a veure amb l'any passat, que es va començar a ser molt millor, però sí que també és cert que no preocupa gràcies a que genera futbol, generen ocasions, genera perill.
A lot of people worried, of course, last night here in Barcelona because of the clouds blocking the super moon. That could be seen in the sky last night. The best time to see it in Barcelona was around about 4:45. I'm afraid I was fast asleep at that time, so I can't tell you what it looked like.
Important assegurar els dos compromisos que queden fins al break, fins a l'aturada que tindrem després del Ramon Sánchez Pizjuán. Com sabeu, i us comentava, demà partit de Champions, però el dissabte dia 3, atenció, a les 4 de la tarda, pot fer força calor,
Not sure if that clash there was deliberate or intentional.
D'un sorprenent Sevilla, i dic sorprenent perquè va treure molt bé el partit de la Champions guanyant el Borussia Mönchengladbach per 3-0.
I'm not sure Luis Suarez was being serious with that either. I think he was just messing around. Suarez, of course, scorer of a brace at the weekend.
Aconseguint la primera victòria de la temporada pel que fa al campionat de Lliga.
Barça beat newly promoted Las Palmas.
La cara que presenta l'equip d'Unai Emery, que
to now sit second in the Liga table.
L'equip sevillista davant del Barça el proper dissabte. Veurem, són els dos compromisos que queden per arribar a aquest descans merescut.
It's really a crackingly tight Liga at the moment with Villarreal, Celta, Real Madrid, Barça, Atletico,
exigència màxima només començar.
even Deportivo and Eibar as a side surprise packages still hanging on in there, so it's looking
trepidant, a més, amb sortides complicades com la
certainly
Sant Mamés, la Catedral, també.
no team was quite broken away. It looked like Barca were going to do that, but the result at Celta has
de Madrid, el Vicente
pulled them back into the pack.
Aturada, això sí, per seleccions, els internacionals no tindran descans, la resta sí que podran...
Sevilla, who Barca play at the weekend, incidentally, they finally got off the bottom of the table at the weekend with a 3-2 win against Rayo Vallecano.
I atenció, perquè després de l'aturada del novembre arriba el Real Madrid.
That's their first 3 points of the season. It's pulled them up at last, but it's really not been the best of starts for Unai Emery's team. Sevilla, of course, were expected to be challenging for the top Champions League places at least, some even saying they're outside candidates to win the league title, and well, the season got off to a very disappointing start. They haven't won yet at the that was their first win at the weekend at the Sanchez Pizjuan, but they're playing back-to-back games now. They'll be hosting Barcelona at 4 o'clock, that's next Saturday. But of course, most importantly right now is the Bayer Leverkusen game tomorrow. Don't forget that at roughly 12:30 Central European time, Luis Enrique is going to be giving a press conference. We'll be here to bring you an English translation of that conference. That's at 12:30. You can watch the streaming live here on fcbarcelona.com. We do warn you that this training session started about half an hour late, so Luis Enrique is likely to start late as well, but we never know with these things.
De moment sembla que a poc ja va acabant el Rondo, encara però continua, perquè un dels místers, Robert Moreno, ja està començant a preparar el següent exercici.
Well, they're preparing the second exercise at the moment.
Pensant-se què és el que es farà després.
So I can warn you that I think we're going to be losing the signal very shortly.
Aquesta tarda a l'estadi del Futbol Club Barcelona, com marca en principi la UEFA.
Remember, it's Champions League protocol that the pre-match training session, the first 15 minutes are open to the press. The same will be the case for Bayer Leverkusen as well when they train later on today. Leverkusen will be training inside the Camp Nou. Barca, of course, could train inside the Camp Nou, but decide not to. But Leverkusen will be training in the Camp Nou, the venue of the game for tomorrow's game. So that's the end of the live streaming, but I warn you that we'll be back at about 12:30 Central European time with Luis Enrique and his pre-Champions League press conference, and also some of the players. I can't tell you which players yet. Oh, I can, in fact. It's Ivan Rakitic. Ivan Rakitic is going to be speaking. Just been announced to me now. He'll be speaking, followed by Luis Enrique. So that'll be at around about 12:30 Central European time. Remember, thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the time in the meantime.